Good day, and welcome to the Budding Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Randy Bridges. In each episode, I cover my experiences, both good and bad, of being a business builder, as well as my journey through the crazy world of entrepreneurship to reach my goal of earning $10 million a year. All right, my friends, we're on episode 113 this week. Is the second week of September. We're actually wrapping that one up, heading into the third week now. And so this week is kind of a review. We're looking a little bit forwards and a little bit backwards as we're prepping through for the end of September. Right now, I'm still working on the $100 million leads book from Alex Hormozi, as well as digging into the $100 million offers book. And I'm really focusing on the leads book simply because right now it makes the most sense for me to be able to apply that. And you'll find out as I go into the different aspects of the month and the week for this particular review, how that's going to work. I have finished The Wealthy Consultant by Taylor Welch. This book was one that I was treating as almost like a technical kind of a book where you kind of jump around and you look at what's most appropriate for what you're working on. But the book wasn't written that way. The book is almost linear in its process of how you get through your business building and your business growth and what you're doing as a result of it. Parts of this are very tactical, so borrowing from different places is quite confusing. So I don't recommend that you jump around the book. It's not a thick book. I do recommend that every business owner and entrepreneur use this book to kind of help guide themselves through this process of growth. The idea being, you should be able to get to up to $3 million a year. Certainly $1 million a year on just one product or service, one message, and one delivery mechanism. Those three are the key parts, and we'll be talking a little bit about this later on when I get into the week. But I'm going back through it all over again. It is in essentially a review process. So I'm working my way through it, and then I stop. I'm up working in chapter 7, and we'll be talking about monetization models in a few minutes. Looking at this month, I'm building a client journey map. This is something that I have wanted to do for quite a while because operationally it's hard to really dig into all the pieces of your business until you actually understand how far that map is out that you're going to go. But taking it from my point of view isn't really the goal here. We want to take it from the client point of view. And that was something that I learned in another video that was being done by Taylor Welch and also the whole team, is that you want to look at this through your client's perspective. And that helps them to understand things like when you get to onboarding. Well, what things are people typically having as questions? What typical problems are they having? And then you want to make sure you introduce that into your onboarding process. Up front, the client journey is more about building a set of filters so that you're filtering out the less than ideal clients right off the bat, as prospects, I should say. And then you go through another filter and you get a smaller batch. And then the idea is you get down to about 3 prospect clients that you're ready to bring them into your equation. And you bring them in the order that they actually will provide you the most benefit. Then you go to the second one, and then you go to the third one. It's still possible that somebody may back out. And if you only chosen one, you've got a problem with that, right? You now have invested a bunch of upfront time that you can't really recover anything on. You do the same thing for hiring. You don't just pick one person, you pick three, and you only bring into the position the one person who best matches with what that job requirement is and what they can bring to the table for your business. So we want to do the same thing from this perspective. Is we want to bring our clients in and bring them down into a filter to have like the top three of those clients. And you offer the first one and see what happens. Maybe something has changed in your filtering process and they're not ready to move on. This is one of the top things I'm working on for this month. I'm still working through my marketing KPIs, keeping track of how many posts I make, how many calls, how many texts, how many direct messages. And I'm doing certain things in different ways between, say, Facebook and Alignable. Alignable is more old school in the sense that people are actually trying to network, not trying to show how good I am. They're actually using it for a networking event. And then finally, models. And we'll be talking about this. This is that monetization models. Looking at what I need to provide as monetization models for my business, and then starting the process of building those, getting things out to the different people that need to be there. For this week, I'm wrapping in, if you see the actual whiteboard, it'll say week, and then there's an arrow to the left and an arrow to the right. What that is what have I been working on and what am I going to be working on during the rest of this week and into next week. Given that we do these podcasts on Thursday, it gives me a chance to really kind of prep for the following week. So I always want to be looking backward and forward, pulling information forward and pushing it out in front of me. One of the things that we discussed previously, doing lead magnets. One thing that the $100 million Leads book has given me as a tool is a better understanding of the purpose of lead magnets. And I want to kind of pass this on because it was kind of a surprise to me. I've always used case study or something like that, a white paper or something that is somewhat informative, but it can be a little sterile, right? Case studies are great, but they give you a chance to take a look at what could be. They don't answer the question of, how do I solve a problem? And that was something that Alex Hormozi really put his focus on. How do you utilize a lead magnet in your business? And I taken a whole different perspective on this because a lead magnet should really do two things. Ideally, it will solve a good problem that your prospect has now. You have one lead magnet solving one problem that everybody has. Now you get engaged attention. But it's not just that you've got to solve a problem. The best lead magnets will lead to other problems that are going to come into the awareness of your prospect. And then your program provides a solution to that. Now, this seems pretty obvious and it seems pretty simple. But until I actually read it the way that Alex Hormozi put it, I was like, oh, I've been missing the thing that leads to the bigger problem, and the solution is my program or my platform or my service, right? And so we'll talk about this in a few minutes when we get to monetization models, because your lead magnet, if it's doing its job, people are not passively engaged in your information. You're giving them something that they can use, something they can learn, and it has to be done in a way that they can consume it at any time. That's a big key element there, is they can consume it any time. So you have to automate this process. If you haven't done the automation of your lead magnet, you run into the problem that I ran into, was where I wanted something from somebody and it took almost a week for that person to get it back to me. We're in the world of instant gratification. And I'm no different than anybody else. We've all been kind of brainwashed into doing that. We need it now. We need it today. And the problem is, right there, we're dealing with it. And the longer we have to deal with that problem, the more expensive it gets. So the engagement comes from not just having a need, but having a fast delivery mechanism that will allow whatever it is you're doing to attract this prospect. It will allow them to utilize it now. Because as Alex talks about, and we all kind of have heard before, the idea here is that when you solve a problem, you become aware of other problems. Solving a problem is great, but it creates other problems. I'll give you a great example of that. I have a philosophy on money, and that's that it isn't a problem when you don't have money. Nobody can ask you for it. I mean, you don't have it, right? It's when you get money. That's when all of the hands come out from people going, oh, I just need a little bit of that. Oh, I just need a little bit of that. Oh, I just need a little bit of that. And you become susceptible. And so once you get money, you have to be sure you're responsible with it. One of the great things about money is that it does require responsibility, not just in how you get it, not just in how you save it or use it or focus it or give it away. It matters that what you're doing with it is something that is good for as many people as it can be. And many times people will just get money and hoard it. They'll just put it in the bank account. Well, the bank has a funny way of doing things. Whenever you've put your money in there, they're going to loan it out to someone else. And you're not going to be able to get any benefit from it at all, other than the fact that it's sitting there. And this is where bank runs create a problem, is that people have put their money in there and all of a sudden I want my money back, like right now. And the bank is going, I've used it on that loan over there. I can't really give it to you, so I've got to go into my reserves and hand it back to you while I'm recovering that loan from this other person over there. So that's the thing about money, that is, you've got to try to make sure that anything you do with money is creating the greatest benefit, not just for yourself, but for everyone around you. That's the real idea of being in business, is you're generating benefit to a customer or a client. You're generating a benefit for yourself. You're generating a benefit for any employees, contractors, third-party companies, partnerships, anything else. You're generating a tremendous amount of value simply by having a business and being profitable in that business, so you can be responsible with the output that comes from your business. That was kind of a thing that I had to really wrap my head around when I first became a business owner, is why would you have employees if you could just do it yourself? Well, we all kind of run out of time. We've talked about that with buy back your time. It's a good thing to have to do, but at the same time, it's something that you want to make sure you really, truly understand, and it lives within you. Let's jump over to the wealthy consultant telling us about monetization models. There are 4 basic monetization models. We need 3 of these in order to grow our business successfully. Okay. Number 1 is products. Number 2, services. Number 3, programs. And number 4, partnerships. Products and services are the cheapest, but programs and partnerships provide the greatest amount of profit. So if you're looking at this, you might want to, if you're starting early, you might want to just start with products and services. If you're a bit more mature, you might want to build programs that encourage the purchase of products and services as a result. Then when you get really well off, now you start being able to partner with other people so that your programs get money from their customers, clients, and vice versa. Their products, their company gets products and services through your clientele, And, your partnership is now going back and forth. If you've ever heard something along the lines of, this program is sponsored by XYZ, you're listening or seeing a partnership in action. You might also hear this called affiliates. Very common. I have a lot of people that I have links for their affiliate programs that when I'm using a resource, I don't just tell people to go out and buy it on Amazon. I suggest they use my link to go through. And then if I get a small kickback, it's fine. It's not really that big of a deal because I'm going to make my money off of the product or service as a result of them reading that book, of doing the things that are in that book. This is similar to how schools do things with a bookstore on campus. You don't have to worry about it. You don't really care where they get the books from. They're providing a certain service. They're taking a part of that, and then they're able to monetize that by funding from the actual school itself. So it becomes a typical partnership delivery mechanism for you as a student to be able to get all your books. Now, again, in monetization models, we really need 3 to be successful. Can you do all 4? Sure. Can you do 1? Well, that was the focus of LaunchKit when I was going through it, is developing 1 program or service and then building on that, growing that. And some of the other programs that were in the Wealthy Consultant, Modern Day Consultant, I haven't gotten to. I'm not prepared for it yet, but the emphasis on the word yet there. But they work to get all 3 in place. As you grow your business, start growing it, you want to pick the one thing you can deliver most easily and make that your monetization model that you work from. In my case, my B3 Accelerator program utilizes cloud and it uses IT consulting that are other parts of my own business. So I'm using the B3 Accelerator platform as a message and a method to be able to pull in from the cloud side, to pull in from the consulting side. I'm not just constantly hammering everybody. I'm using my own resources. I do research. I can do market research. But why? I hire other people that do market research as a partnership to be able to provide something that will build upon my platform, my programs, and it will enhance it so that people don't have to go out and find their own. We become a catalyst for all different things coming together. So lots of things happening this week, lots of things happening this month. I'm revisiting all my lead magnets now with a new mindset of how I'm going to do it. I am looking at the monetization models. I do have some products that I am in the process of building. One of them is focusing on your basic training that anybody can go through. And eventually, if it's needed, I will use that as part of the training for the onboarding process coming into my B3 Accelerator platform. Depending upon where people are, they may need this, and then we can build out from there. So the services, that's another one that is going in. That's the pure consulting side. That's a great example of a service. That's the week, that's the month, that's the process that I'm going through. The reading, all of the pieces of the puzzle. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. We're coming up on 20 minutes. So I thank you very much for your time. I wish you the best in your health, your wealth, your business, your family, everything about you. Take care and have a great week.